just in case you're wondering, that was not for me. That was for those of you watching who are directionally challenged. So feel free to thank me down in the comments. Welcome and welcome back, everybody. T here, and in today's video, we'll be doing a solo playthrough of Naturopolis, a new wallet game from Buttonshy Games that will be going on Kickstarter on September 27th, 2022. During the video, I'll give a tutorial about how the game is played, and be sure you stick around for the end of the video where I share my thoughts about the game in general. But without further ado, let's get started. Here is a game of Naturopolis set up and ready to play. Over the course of the game, we'll be placing tiles out onto our central board to create the most beautiful landscape by trying to connect matching types of blocks of forests, mountains, meadows, and lakes. In order to win the game, we'll need to meet the score target, which is the sum of our 3 objective cards, which are uniquely drawn for each game. So for setup, we're going to start by shuffling the 18-card deck, placing 3 cards with their objective side face up, and then drawing 3 cards to form our starting hand. On your turn, you'll select one of the cards from your hand and place it into the landscape. The first card can go anywhere. Subsequent cards must connect by at least 1 block, not diagonally, but at least orthogonally, and they can overlap any existing blocks. However, they can never be tucked underneath. A new rule from Naturopolis is that the rivers also can never connect directly to a road tile, although, like roads, they can connect into nothing or connect with other river tiles. The cards can only be rotated 180 degrees, so they have to remain horizontally. After we've placed all 15 of the landscape cards, we'll go ahead and total up our values of the largest block of each of the 4 types. We'll subtract 2 points for every stretch of road in our landscape, and then we'll score our objective cards. If we meet the target objective or exceed it, we have won the game. And that's all we need to know to get started, so we're just going to jump right in here. For this game, we'll be using 3 objectives: Twin Peaks, Driving Daisies, and Run Forest Run. With Twin Peaks, we want to have mountain areas of exactly size 2, and both of them will either have a campsite or no campsite on them. Those will be 2 points each. For Driving Daisies, we are trying to get meadows alongside our longest road. Each block will be 2 points, but any meadows that are not on that road will be worth -1 point each. For Run Forest Run, we are trying to have a long river starting and ending on a forest space, and we'll get 1 point per block of that longest river. So for our first card here, I do like the idea of starting with this one. Gets us some good mileage on Run Forest Run. We do have some rivers without roads on meadow cards, which we are going to hopefully want to cover up at some point. So I think we'll start with this. Maybe we'll put it down here, and then draw a card to refill our hand. Okay, so we want to continue this river, hopefully covering up this particular meadow since it doesn't have a road. We could do something like this. That will also get us a lake of size 2 that we can work towards. So let's try that, and it starts our road for Driving Daisies. Okay, we could further continue our road for Driving Daisies and start building up a forest over here. So I think we'll go ahead and do that, and we can extend it even further and get our first scoring for Twin Peaks with 2 mountains blocks without campsites. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so we have a very long road. We want to cover this up, ideally with a lake. This has an end potentially for a forest. Let's see, is there anything we can do? Something like this would be great, but that cuts off our river. We want to extend the river this way if we can, but I think there are other areas we could use for that. This particular mountain tile has a campsite and this one doesn't, so that's not ideal, but we might be able to connect a road there later. Or we can simply connect more roads down here and add on to our lake. That could turn into something cool later, so we'll try that. All right, and what do we have here? More roads with meadows, which is great. That would be an additional 2 points. So I think we'll continue to add on down here. And okay, this we want to cover up eventually. So I think we could do something like that, but I don't know, like the long river looks nice, but it doesn't really help us. we need to start adding to a river that starts and ends on a forest space. So maybe if we do this over here, we could start it on this forest space and then work our way down potentially and connect later. What can we do? We do want to connect our road over here if we can. We do want to cover this up eventually. Maybe. No, that doesn't fit. Also doesn't fit. And yep, no, that makes sense. They're all in the same corner. Just in case you're wondering, that was not for me. That was for those of you watching who are directionally challenged. So feel free to thank me down in the comments. Okay, let's see. I mean, we could just add on here. That's not like the best thing we've ever done. Maybe we'll just plan on covering up some stuff and making a big lake over here. Or is there one that's better to use? Because then we can cover this as well and keep making our way down. Something like this wouldn't be too bad, I think. We also want to add on to our river here. So maybe we can do this instead. Ooh, and then we can get mountains over here. Okay. Our river wants to continue down somewhere. We could do this, and then we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 forest run out of the 11 target, which that's not an exact number for that card because we do have the overall scoring as well. But I am very tempted to try that, unless there's a card that fits better with the orientation. Although I'm not sure that there is. What are our other objectives? We want these over here with our whatchamacallits on them. Driving daisies, our meadows. So we could maybe potentially connect this way. It would be so great if we could tuck this, but we can't tuck. It has to go on top. Is there a way that we can get it where these two campsites are connected anyway? Not that I'm seeing, and they have to touch, so I can't just place this here and then place this on top. Unfortunately, that would be great though. We could do, yeah, we could do that. Or I can just place a card there artificially that I know that I'm going to cover up and then place this on top. Is that good? I'm not sure. That might not be the worst thing to do. We also want to get some large chunks. We only have size 2 mountains. We have a size 3 forest up here. We have a decent lake going. So maybe we should keep working on the lake? Question mark? Because then I could cover this up. Oh, but we need this river to connect as well if we want to do that. Decisions. Maybe we'll wait on that later because at the worst case scenario, I could connect to one of these tiles later on and have the lake end on something. Oh, wait. Oh, but there are 3 there. No bueno. Do we cover some of this up with some lake stuff? We're just going to go for it and we'll cover and adjust as necessary later, I think. Or we have a really big river, which would negate the -2 for these. From Driving Daisies, because we got +2 for Run Forest Run if we can end it on an actual lake, or not lake, I keep saying lake, river on a forest. So we could go down here potentially. Do we want to do that though? Yes or no? I mean, we could just have a really, really, really long river. I think we're going to go for it and have a really, really, really long river. Okay. And as of right now, it would score because it begins and ends on a forest, but maybe we could add like this, for example, but that gives us another road, which is not ideal. We do want to extend our roads with our meadows as well. So we'll see about that. Let's see, slide this over. Sorry, apologies. Okie dokie. We can just keep building this way. I think that might just be the best thing to do at this point, honestly, so that we can get points for Driving Daisies. We don't have like large forest or anything. Can this connect? It could connect up here for more points with this, or we could do something to this effect, which doesn't help us a whole lot, but it maintains our road. Is there a way that we can get this connected for 2 points without losing 2 points for making a new road though? Oh, I totally forgot we were going to try to connect these. Oh, that would have been perfect for the road, but then we cover up our starting point. So unless we cover up this and that, is that possible to do to where it doesn't completely ruin us? We could do that, and then we could have a group of 3 meadow. Oh, but then we lose our 2 points for our mountains there as well. So I think it's worth it to just lose the 2 points here, or we lose 2 points and we lose 3 points. So we lose 5 points, but we would gain 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we would get an extra meadow point, but that would be a negative. It's hard to tell if that's the right thing to do or not. Oh, oof. I mean, the other alternative is we can maintain some of those points over here by connecting, and we could then connect this elsewhere, like here, for example. That way we only get -1 instead of -2. So that's a possibility. I think we'll go ahead and do that instead. Yeah, but then we get -2 for our road. Ooh, there are no good solutions. Maybe we'll just go ahead and do this. Okay, excellent. So now we are ready for scoring. We'll see how that turns out. So the first thing we're going to do is score each block of our largest group. So our largest lake is size 4. And then we have a forest of size 3. We have a meadow of size 2 and mountains of size 2. Uh-oh. Okay, so that totals up to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now we're going to go ahead and subtract 2 for each road. So we have 1, 2, 3. So we have -6. So we are at 5 points. Solid. Now we have scoring for our cards, which I don't think is going to go well. Twin Peaks. We have no campsites with size 2, no campsites with size 2. We didn't manage to get any others, so that is 4 points, which brings us to 9. Then we are going to add driving daisies. So 2 points per meadow on our longest road. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. -1 per meadow not on our road. So 14 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 9 points for that. So 9 plus 9 is 18. This is how math works, by the way. And then we have Run Forest Run, which we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 points, which gives us a total of 31 points. Hey, and our goal was 10 plus 6 plus 11, which is 27. We got 31 points, which means we have created a successful landscape. So there you have it. That is a solo playthrough of Naturopolis from buttonshy Games. With the upcoming Kickstarter on September 27th, buttonshy was looking for reviewers, and as many of you may know, I don't typically accept review copies of games. However, this is from a very well-established line of games, Sprawlopolis, Acropolis, 2 games that are very near and dear to my heart that I really enjoy. And I thought, wow, okay, shallow reason, but nature theme? Hello. It's a game that I already know I love with some minor changes. Of course, I want to try it out and see what it's all about. And I have to say that I was not only enchanted by the theme of Naturopolis and its table presence, but I was pleasantly surprised by the updates to the mechanics as well. Naturopolis, for me personally, is my favorite out of all 3, and that has a lot to do with these 2 little icons here. So, the addition of the rivers and the campsites, for me, just took a game that I already loved and felt like it expanded so much more. I love the streamlined core mechanics of Sprawlopolis, I end up playing it solo or sometimes at 2 players more often than with 3 or 4, because I typically tend to play with people who play quite a few games. And so sussing out like which placement is the best, there are only so many things to consider. It's crazy how much just adding the rivers and then potentially campsites based on your scoring adds to the number of decisions that you have to make each round. Even the fact that like rivers can't connect to roads, like there's so many extra little things to consider without adding any new heavy cumbersome rules. I think it's just such a fantastically brilliant way of giving the players more choices and more options throughout a playthrough. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, wait, I really love the casual feel of Sprawlopolis, don't panic, it's fine. Not all of the cards reference campsites, so you can leave those out and they would be irrelevant during our playthrough. And if you're feeling like you want a more casual style, one of the things I love is that you can definitely just use some of the higher point value objective cards, because they will always score you positive points without having to consider any extra negative points. But if you're wanting something really crunchy, you can also go the other way. And like with Lake Mistakes, I mean, it's in the name, hello. You can try a more challenging card where you do have to consider a lot more of those elements in new ways. And it will be a lot more challenging because you have negative things to consider. So I can definitely see myself personally playing this not only solo or at 2, but even with 3 pretty easily, or potentially even 4 players. And again, very easy to teach, very easy to learn, so much variability with the unique scoring objectives. And I think the scalability for player count, for the overall vibe of the game and how heavy you want your game to be is really great. So whether you enjoy playing more casual games or heftier games, whether you are a solo gamer or like playing with others, I feel that Naturopolis is a lot of elements that are very accessible but variable. And it could be an amazing addition and complement to many players' collections. So in my opinion, I would definitely say you need to check out Naturopolis when it comes to Kickstarter on September 27th. That's all the time we have for today. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a like down below. It really helps out the video and the channel. And while you're down there, you can also subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't already. It's free and you will be updated anytime I upload a new video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye. On Kickstarter in September 27th? In September? In September, but not in the 27th. My God.